Hello. It's been a couple days. I'm just going to do a really quick reading because I know I'm going to do a longer one on the new moon that's coming up. And so I'm going to kind of save my thoughts for that one so that I can go on for as long as I want to. Right now, I'm just going to do a little animal card spread and then clarify it just to do an energy check-in. One thing that I did notice about the video that I posted, the one before last when I was talking about Black Mirror, is that kind of like I failed to recognize how in that first episode, Joan is awful. At the end, they did acknowledge how it was showing you that there were multiple fictive realities built off of like base reality. So basically my critique was like some of the episodes existed in a world where it was Netflix and Netflix was calling itself Netflix, and then another one where it was making a fake or fictive reality Netflix called Streamberry, but it's actually consistent across the episodes. I love like critically analyzing those, so I am going to talk more about it, but I just wanted to do a couple animals, see what the spirit animal energy is. I've been like clearing out a whole lot of stuff recently, just like super duper low energy. So haven't been wanting to read cards or just record things. I'm very much also in that like information gathering stage to a couple other videos that I want to do. So and then I highly recommend watching Matthias De Stefano. He's like an incredible person. I forget when I figured out who he was. It was a long time ago. It was probably 5 years ago now. And just like anything he talks about is pretty cool because he's kind of functioning in this like integrated space of being in the world, right, and living a life, but he also does a whole lot of stuff within his like mission. And when I talk about like, you know, being maybe like stressed out by certain projects that I want to do and stuff, he talked about that in the podcast that he did with Danica Patrick, but he was saying like, it's all the stuff that comes to you as like, I'm supposed to do this. Like I have, you know, visions for paintings or for workshops or whatever it may be. He talks about that and he's like, there's no reason to be stressed about that because then you take it out of the fact that it's supposed to be about creation and expansion. So you just have to remember that the things that are available to you, even though it feels sometimes like a high stakes project, it's so that you enjoy it, right? The things that the universe has bestowed upon you as like the things that are available to you to express yourself in this life, that is for enjoyment. And so I like that because it reminds us to just like, if you reach a point with any project or thing that you're doing and it's stressing you out, maybe you need to put it down for a little bit and return to it when you're in like a more balanced space. And then also, so this is a message that I got probably last week or the week before. It's all about accepting where you're at. So sometimes when we have like goals and dreams and ideas about things that we're going to do going forward, you don't like, sometimes I take issue with the phrase fake it till you make it. Like I get it and I understand, but at the same time, do whatever is in service of the bigger goal exactly where you're at, you know, never try to have more information or ability than you do. And I think about me with like tone healing or different like vocals and like using frequencies or the body as an instrument really to create frequencies that can remove blocks in chakras. That's something that I know that I'm going to be doing at some point, but I'm not like, I don't have any information about it now. So I'm not going to, you know, go on and pretend to do that. I'm just going to wait until, you know, the little trapdoors with my own expansion and development kind of naturally give way to a point where that's happening. So I just wanted to share that because I think that's really common, is that sometimes when we get an idea, we try to like rise to the occasion, and that's good. But at the same time, sometimes we're not patient enough to let our own like growth and expansion catch up to the project, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to take 3 animals, see what we have, and then I'm going to clarify a little bit. Fox spirit. Think on your feet, number 27 or 9. That hasn't come out in a while. Owl spirit, you see clearly now, 43 or number 7. Yeah, I like that. Lizard spirit, dream the world into being, 38 or 11. Yeah, okay, so like what I'm getting off of these, there's a theme. Again, I was talking last week about all of these swords cards, which speaks to overanalysis and like logic and using the mental capacity to find our way through things, but there wasn't really a mental bearing on the actual things that we were feeling. And by that, I just mean we were needing to reorient, or at least the universe was trying to get us to reorient, because we might have been like thinking in circles, really. So you see clearly now. What I'm getting off of that is maybe we have had a little bit of the simplification that I was talking about, where it comes back down to like just Ace of Wands, just the Star card, just the ability to kind of like be here now, right? Think on your feet. I think when people are prepared, it's not because they've done all of this over analysis or foresight, or, you know, seen all the options and mentally ready themselves to handle how something will go in any case. I think it's more that the person is like in the moment, right? Because then you can truly authentically actually react and respond to things. But it seems like there is clarity that we didn't have before. And Dream the World into Being with Lizard Spirit, I think I probably will read for that one. So when was the last time you basked in the sun and allowed yourself to daydream, to imagine what might be and who you might become? Lizard Spirit appears when you are called to let your imagination flow and dream something new. Inspiration is available to you now if you are willing to slow down and let your eyes close a little, allowing ideas to dance in your head. What might come into being if you were to pursue your dream? How might you grow and expand if you allowed yourself to dare to believe in the impossible, making it possible first in your dreaming mind and then in the world as you co-create with spirit? Give in to the power of imagination, and soon your dream will become clearer. The steps will reveal themselves, and what was ephemeral will begin to coalesce into form. Dream it and be it. Spirit asks you to dare to dream big. And then the protection message says, have you been allowing your imagination to run amok and dream up a nightmare that seems to have come true? Fear not, for whatever dreaming you did in the past can change today as you dream anew. That's a super important message too. A lot of the times we think that we are like layers and layers and layers in deep with situations that are not favorable for us. And then you disempower your ability to pivot and kind of move things out of your way as you begin to energetically fuel another direction, right? Because you actually have the ability, regardless of how deeply entrenched a habit or a situation is, or a manifestation, you know, a physical thing, a pattern that's taken hold in your life, you have the ability to instantaneously break out of that, because it happens from the inside out with intention and with what you allow yourself to believe and understand is actually possible. It doesn't mean that everything just reconfigures around you, you know, like magic. It just means that the energy will be starting to redirect such that those outward manifestations of those troubling things will start to fall away. But that's hard to do because that relies on the continual, you know, pull back of the energy. And that means like not reacting to things a certain way, because when you partake energetically, you're still fueling it and giving it a root to be able to continue to manifest in your physical world. Wake up from the perception that everything is wrong. Lizard Spirit asks you to open your eyes and consciously dream a better dream. What would it look like to already have what you desire and be the one you wish to be? How might it feel to work toward co-creating this new dream as a reality in the world of the senses, drawing it out of the world of dreams and building it in the world of form? Trust in your ability to dream anew and honor it today. Okay, I'm also getting this message from the Matthias De Stefano podcast again, and something that I really, really liked that he talked about was the power of the number 4 and how a lot of cycles in our lives, and pretty much all of them, rely on the number 4 because it's broken into 4 different phases. And so the first phase is expression, and it basically means anything. Expression comes when there's pressure that is released. So it could be like the Big Bang. It goes back to what I was talking about when I was in Italy and I was reading from the book Science in the Akashic Field, talking about kind of like the primordial plenum and structures emerging, and then the intelligent design of these fractal like, you know, shapes organizing themselves and learning from themselves. That's just all of energy creating into different universes and worlds. And so expression is that first step. And then there's experimentation. And he talks about it as the shape of a circle. So once something has been expressed and it's out, then there's this ability to navigate it in a circle and understand it. and kind of experiment with the bounds of what has been created. And then the third step is integration, where you are, releasing things that no longer hold true with the birth of a new cycle or phase, but integrating the things that are going to kind of change your, performance or psyche or whatever it is to go forward. And then transcendence is the fourth step that kind of takes you into a new, this is how we level up. Okay. So everything that we change, you do go through those 4 stages with it. And sometimes that's very quickly. Sometimes that's over the course of, weeks or months or years. So he talks about it in terms of humanity and the evolution of humanity being in this like much longer cycle, 5,000 years, 2,000 to 5,000 years around kind of the dawn of like a new type of society that doesn't function on like really outdated and limiting power structures. So let me get some clarifier cards just from the tarot about that. I'm not going to read, what fell off right off the top was the Wheel of Fortune. So there's still this need to kind of key into the surrendering of our own will and our own preferences as to what's happening right now. Kind of make space for divine timing to show us what the next step is. And I like that with Lizard Spirit too, because it wasn't saying like have all the answers and go forward. It was saying believe in the dreamier aspect of that, and then know that what you see in front of you is always going to be able to show you what the next step is. So maybe the fake it till you make it thing is just all about like going forward anyway, even if you're not fully confident, in something or fully understanding of how it's going to go for you. I'm going to take these off, but I'm just going to leave them here. And we'll see what comes up here. So I'd like current energy affecting everybody. And this is, I actually experienced from the blue moon at the end of the super blue full moon on August 31st until September 15th, this new moon. It's been like this void. It's been like this total void where I've just been like super exhausted and clearing and having really, really deep dreams, and basically in this kind of liminal space energetically, doing a lot of collective transmutation for what's going on in collective energies right now. So let's get the overall energy affecting us right now. Hi, boo-boo. Overall. Page of Pentacles, yeah. So it is, right? Pentacle, the beginning, the single pentacle being contemplated. It's a grounded new kind of curiosity about what it is that we're going to be focusing on right now. What's the unseen energy hidden from us right now? Unseen energy. There's a lot that's falling away. It's the Tower. If it's unseen, then, I mean, this could be anything that like shocks you, anything that like, I don't know, a new person coming back into your life, or something not working out, right? Rejection is protection. Also things that are like not panning out the way you thought. Sometimes redirections is just the universe trying to take you on the route that it needs to go in order for it to happen the way that is most beneficial for all parties involved. Okay, so what we don't see is how radically things are actually shifting. And what I'm getting is that this is way more of a spiritual, unseen, energetic transformation. And that for me ties into just being super low energy. And like, I know that my conscious mind has not been able to keep up with the changes that have been happening energetically. So that's why I'm like, I don't need to know. I just need to be able to take care of myself. So it's like the things that I talked about on the community page. I love like using Epsom salts and like essential oils and like jojoba oil to make body scrubs and just like literally polish up my, my aura, hands, feet, detox that way. Lots of water, oil pulling in the mouth. You can use different kinds of oils, but I prefer coconut oil. Because a lot of the density that's clearing out right now, if you've been kind of like clarifying your physical body at all in the past few months, or like, detoxing from substances or like, more highly processed foods, we just live in a world today. If you live in, more and more if you live in an urban area, but even if you live in more rural areas, we are people that walk with a lot of compounded toxins in our systems because of air quality and processed foods and all of the different, the things in and the water and whatnot. What was it? Was it bees or birds? One airborne thing is just testing with these insane levels of aluminum in their systems. You know, we are too, which is why a lot of people, right? Life expectancy and disease and all these different things. And what I'm getting, I mean, with the oil pulling, it really can draw out toxins in, you know, the jaw, the mouth, energy pools in the mouth. That's why a lot of people have, you know, TMJ or sleep bruxism issues. So I cannot emphasize how beneficial that is right now. But to complete that thought, right, our current energy resides in the pentacles, the material, the 3D, you know, the next step maybe. But what we don't see is outside of the 3D world that is, you know, working on this higher level of restructuring. So what's the energy to embrace right now leading up to this new moon? That came out real quick. 5 of Wands. You know, that's interesting in an embrace position because it does speak to like a little bit of conflict. That can be the internal turmoil of having too many conflicting ideas and kind of your ego speaking too loudly for your intuition to come through. Or it can speak to the petty conflicts and kind of disagreements within the people in your life right now. So if it's in the energy to embrace position, I'm seeing and I'm hearing pressure creates diamonds, right? Conflict. All polishing is done with friction. So if there's a little tension or a little friction right now, understand that and see that, like remove the way that we get like triggered or activated by other people who may not see eye to eye with us. See that as a productive form of friction that is moving things along, even if it means, you know, you go separate ways or however it pans out, even if it's just within your own consciousness, being able to let that churn itself out, really. What's the energy to release right now that's not serving us? Energy to release, move away from, and let go. Okay, came out a little sticky, a little stubborn. It's the 3 of Swords, okay. And that's all about just like heartbreak, you know. Clarify, release 3 of Swords, please. Clarify it. I mean, it doesn't really need a clarifier. That's what my guides just told me, but it came out. Okay. 4 of Wands, clarifying 3 of Swords in the release position. So releasing the heartache, right? Just removing kind of like the things that have pierced us one by one by integrating them. What do I mean by that? Taking accountability for our own toxic, karmic, codependent, unproductive, unhealed expressions of ourselves in relation to other people in the past. And, you know, if you've been wronged, so that's our accountability. But if we've been wronged, then it's forgiveness, right? And it's being able to release. And the clarifier being the 4 of Wands, I mean, that's all about, right, like the promised land, the kingdom. It is where the Empress and the Emperor live in stability, in harmony, in union, in a partnership that has equal parts of balance between masculine, feminine energies within the 2 people that are together. And so I'm seeing it as like, whatever, I think sometimes we yearn for things. If you have an experience from the past that was like pinnacle or peak, we have a hard time seeing that anything else could be brighter because it hasn't shown itself to us yet. So in some ways, it's hard to imagine it because it's not real until we experience it. Because, you know, experiencing is believing. And so what's coming is better than what's been, is how I'm going to wrap that up. But what's the incoming energy as we look towards this new moon in Virgo? Such a good time to set intentions, by the way. Virgo is like your little pixie ally, you know, the little whimsical energy of Virgo embodied in this new moon is saying like, what do you want? Say it, articulate it, and then let's do it. Like there's a lot of support in the organization of a new way of doing things, a new daily habit, the removal of a toxic habit, whatever it is. It's a great time to get clear on that. But the other thing that's coming through, kind of like I said, you don't want to go above and beyond the scope of what you're capable of doing right now. You want to meet your own gifts and abilities right where you're at and then act from that place and then see yourself expand and you know, develop more abilities that start to match the actual, you know, whole project. Right along with that, I'm seeing this idea where it's like, if you don't know what you want, do not exercise your throat chakra and speak out things that aren't truly aligned. Don't just try to speak with intention if it has not crystallized in your heart or in your mind about what it is that you want. You need to save the power of your own expression until you do have clarity about it. So that's bringing me back to this energy to embrace. If you don't know what you want, let it reason itself out in your own mind before you just put forth intention for the sake of doing that, or like convincing yourself into some form of clarity. And in the energy to embrace position, it's not giving me the most like comfortable, thing to embrace, because it's embracing conflict. It's embracing disagreement between others, or between can't be and can't be in your own head, right? Embrace the liminal space. Incoming energy though. And I'm going to take this card to mean like what's, coming with this new moon. Oh, golly. I mean, it was a whole bunch, but I'll take it. So the incoming energy, Queen of Pentacles. Lovely, stability, grounded. I love that because it means that our Page of Pentacles, our beginning, our contemplation, it goes somewhere. And where does it go? Like into the lap of comfort. Knight of Wands. Passion, fast forward movement, leap of faith with the Fool, new beginning. We love it. And then a choice, right? And being able to build off of this, new stability and keep going. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to get too into it. I finally actually recorded a short reading. Hope everybody's doing well, and I will come back on in the next couple days to do a new moon in Virgo reading. But for now, just continue to take care of your physical vessel, because if it's communicating to you, then there is something to that. And your conscious mind does not have to understand, it does no benefit to you to say like, well, I already ate once, I don't need another meal, or I already, got 9 hours of sleep, I don't need to take a little nap. It's just got to roll with it right now and like really be intuitive when it comes to the appetite and the things that the body needs.